This event I'm about to tell you happened 48 years ago today. Henry Sr. and Gloria Bedard gave birth to Henry Bedard Jr. on June the 25th, 1958. He had a rather idyllic American middle-class childhood with loving parents. 3 brothers, John, Stephen, and Scott, and his sister, Cheryl. The Bedards had a picture-perfect life, living the American dream. They lived in a lovely split-level home at the end of a quiet cul-de-sac in Swampscott, Massachusetts. Henry Bedard Jr. was a contented adolescent. Christmas was his favorite holiday, and his parents delighted in decorating the house each year. Christmas 1974 was no exception, but a horrific event that holiday season changed the Bedard's family's lives forever. Henry, 15, walked his younger brother to school on December the 16th, 1974, before heading to Swampscott High School, where he was a sophomore. When school was out at 2:15, Henry took the bus to the Venen Square Shopping Center instead of walking home with friends. Henry first dropped off a roll of 8mm film to be developed at CVS. Henry was excited to see what treasures might be in his father's recently discovered undeveloped film. Henry went Christmas shopping after leaving CVS. He enjoyed Christmas, especially saving money and carefully selecting the perfect gifts for his family. He purchased Love's Musky Jasmine Flower perfume for his older sister, Cheryl. It was her personal favorite. Around 3 p.m., Henry left the mall. A short time later, Peter Cassidy, then a lieutenant with Swampscott Police Department, stopped to allow Henry to cross Paradise Road. As Henry passed by, they exchanged greetings. At 3:40 p.m., nearly a mile south of the mall, Henry was spotted by a group of city workers as he took a shortcut through the Department of Public Works yard. He said hello to them as he passed by, wishing them a Merry Christmas. He proudly held up his CVS bag as he explained he was on his way home to wrap gifts. The workers watched as Henry climbed a trail into a wooded area near his home, following the path of the former rail line. It had become dark, and Henry had not yet arrived home. Henry's parents became very concerned. He was always home by 5:30 p.m. and never missed a family meal. If he was going to be late, he informed his parents. The Bedards were in full panic mode by 7 p.m., gathering family and friends for an informal search party. They divided up and combed the parks and local pathways, concentrating on potential routes Henry might have taken home. An unrelenting rainstorm had rolled into the area, making their efforts all the more difficult. The searchers refused to give up. They were worried Henry had hurt himself on his way home and needed medical attention. Henry's parents realized they needed assistance and called the police at 9:15 p.m. to report their son missing. Scent dogs and searchers combed the area. A helicopter was sent to assist. Henry could not be found. Later, a local mother called the police to report that her son and a friend had discovered Henry's body. Later, it was revealed that 2 boys on their way home from a birthday party found an empty brown wallet in a CVS bag containing a bottle of perfume on a rocky wooded ledge overlooking the Department of Public Works yard. Investigators cordoned off the area and began searching the crime scene. The torrential rains that swept through the region the night of Henry's murder washed away any footprints and likely destroyed any other viable evidence. Investigators examined every square inch of the hillside. Floodlights were brought in to extend the search into the evening hours. A metal detector was used to look for evidence that was not easily visible to the naked eye. Henry's wallet and CVS bag remained on the scene. The blood-splattered Louisville Slugger baseball bat discovered just a few feet away from Henry's body piqued police interest. The bat had distinct markings carved into its end. Henry died as a result of brain lacerations and numerous fractures. According to autopsy findings, the young man was beaten to death, receiving at least 5 distinct blows to the head with a hard cylindrical object, similar to a baseball bat. All evidence pointed to the bat covered in Henry's blood discovered at the scene. The evidence has been tested numerous times over the years. Given the rapid advances in forensic science, this is a wise decision. 2 partial fingerprints were discovered in the blood on the baseball bat, but the case is not as simple as it should be. Henry was not fingerprinted during the autopsy. It is unknown whether the fingerprints belong to Henry or his killer. However, authorities believe they have DNA evidence, either from Henry's clothing or the bat, but they have yet to find a match in any database. In the months following Henry's murder, police interviewed nearly 100 people. A total of 9 unidentified teenagers agreed to and passed polygraph tests. A $10,000 reward was offered. However, the case stopped producing clues after a few months. The investigation eventually came to a halt. Henry's assailant has not been caught. For years, Henry's sister blamed herself for Henry's death because he deviated from his usual routine to buy Cheryl perfume for Christmas. A part of her died that day too, Cheryl explained. Henry's death left an indelible mark on the Swampscott community. The loss of Henry is still felt in the hearts and minds of those who knew him best. Henry's sister, Cheryl, stated that her brother's murder tore our family apart, each of us retreating into our own cocoon, never discussing his death as a family. Henry's parents eventually divorced and moved away from town. After so many decades, it will most likely come down to one of 2 things. First, someone will come forward with information that can help solve the case. It could be the murderer's deathbed confession, or someone recognizing the markings on the baseball bat finally coming forward and identifying the perpetrator. Alternatively, there will be a DNA match. The murder weapon and the clothing Henry was wearing the afternoon he was murdered have both been recovered by police. With technological advances since Henry's death, a DNA match could be made at any time. The perpetrator will hopefully end up behind bars, where they belong. Was Henry murdered by a person he knew? Tell me what you think in the comments. Please contact the Swampscott Police Department at 781-595-1111 if you have any information about Henry's murder.